Your personal credit score is not enough. I see a lot about, oh, let me just add some trade lines, some AUs, and then go get a bank loan. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Credit Plug Vlog. So today's video is geared towards newer business owners because one of the more frequent questions I get asked all the time is, as a new business owner, what types of loans, lines of credit can I get if I just started my business? And the answer is there's very few, if any at all, that you can get as a brand new business, right? If you started your business yesterday, you're not going to be able to go to the major banks, the Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, and get a business line of credit. Now, credit cards are a little bit different because yes, you can get credit cards as a new business owner, but you will have to utilize good personal credit to get there. And I just also wanted to realign some expectations because I know a couple years ago, there was massive marketing around no PG business credit. And I think, a lot of that was misinterpreted. When you hear about no PG business credit, most of that marketing was about business trade vendors, right? Building up your Dun & Bradstreet, building up your Paydex score, building up all these different business credit net 30 vendors, and then being able to, get additional, net 30 vendors. Now, there is value in doing that. However, a lot of people think that just because you got some net 30s that you can walk into a major bank and be able to get a bank loan when you don't have any cash flow or if your personal credit isn't up to par. So you have to realize what business credit actually is and what are the actual data points that you need in order to get, let's say, $20, $30, $50,000 revolving business lines of credit. And in most cases, you are going to need some type of cash flow, whether that's with the commercial banks or if that's with, fintech organizations. Now, there's a lot of fintechs out there. You have the Fundbox, the Blue Vine, On Deck. A lot of these fintechs, you may not have to have a long time in business or tax returns, financial statements, stuff like that, or even having good credit. I mean, some of these go as low as like a 500 credit score. However, you do have to have cash flow, right? Because they're analyzing your cash flow to determine and underwrite a credit line for you. So in some form or fashion, you will need to have some income flowing through your business bank account. A lot of new businesses, it may not even be that their credit is not good or they're not making money, but just the fact that the business is not set up properly. So one of the first things you want to do when you start your business, you want to get your EIN from the IRS, and you also want to open up a business checking account. That's probably one of the most simple things. So when you're trying to get business loans with a personal checking account, a lot of lenders, it's not going to pass their KYC compliance. So KYC is bank compliance. It's called, know your customer. So you also want to make sure you have an accounting software, right? That's one of the most overlooked things, right? You want to get set up with a QuickBooks because if you are trying to get these high limit loans, 50,000, 30,000, 100,000, a lot of times, lenders are going to want to see your financial statement. So it goes a little deeper than just, your credit or your business credit trade lines or even your bank statements, because with your financial statements, your profit and loss, your balance sheet, that gives a more clear financial picture because it's not just, money coming in, which your bank account would show, or your bank statements rather, but with your, financial statements, your profit and loss, that's actually, telling how much money you have coming in, what your expenses is, and the information is much more organized. With your balance sheet, it's going to show all of the business assets, all the business's liabilities. So it's a more complete picture for an underwriter to be able to, see the overall financial health of your business. So you want to get set up with an accounting software. Now, the last point I wanted to make was this expectation of business credit, right? Now recently this week, I'll actually be honest with you and let you guys know, I just got approved for an additional, $225,000 in business lines of credit, revolving business lines of credit. In all of those particular application and, the process, none of that really was determined by business credit, right? None of the institutions asked about Paydex. They didn't even ask about Experian business. I think one of the applications may have used Equifax business, but it was supplemental information. It wasn't the main, data point that was being evaluated. So what you really want to focus on, as a new business is one, making sure your business is set up and structured properly. have a banking account, have an accounting software. You also are going to want to have a payroll provider. That's one thing I left out. So when you have a payroll provider, you don't have to worry about income verification because you're able to run payroll, withhold taxes, and you have all the proper forms when a lender might ask for income verification, whether that's on the personal or on the business side, right? When you have a payroll provider. Another thing is that payroll providers do report information to different third-party data vendors. So a lot of people think that, okay, if you submit some pay stubs, right, just a paper document, that suffices. But no, because there's electronic verification on payroll data. As a matter of fact, Equifax actually owns one of the third-party payroll data vendors, where they're literally aggregating payroll data from the biggest providers, ADP, Paychex, Gusto. So a lot of that information banks do have access to. So when you see stated income applications, it's not always stated. Yeah, it's stated on the application, but they have data sources on the back end to verify that. So long story short, you want to be set up all the way, right? And one of the reasons why, for me, like I said, it's very easy at this point for me to be able to get hundreds of thousands of dollars every couple of months, because it took years to get set up properly, right? You also want to make sure that you're keeping good records of all your business transactions. Keep your receipts, right? Because when it's time to file taxes, you want to have all that information available. And tax returns is going to be the most important data point, in my opinion, when you're trying to get commercial lines of credit. It's not your Paydex score. It's not your Experian IntelliScore. It's not your Equifax score. It's going to be your business tax returns, right? Your business tax returns is what unlocks, these high limits, right? Over the past week, I've been able to get, let's see, 80,000, 70,000, 50,000 lines of credit. So, a lot of business credit in a short amount of time. And, several years ago, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish this. But the reason why I'm able to accomplish this, and, when I share information, it looks like, so easy, but it really took years of positioning, right? Financial positioning. You want to position your data points, and that's really the biggest key, right? So when all of your data points check out, it's super easy to get access to lines of credit. So, my message to a lot of these newer businesses is that, you have to be patient. Don't expect to start a business tomorrow and then be able to get $100,000 line of credit the day after it. That's not how it works. And last point I wanted to make is that your personal credit score is not enough. I see a lot about, oh, let me just add some trade lines, some AUs, and then go get a bank loan. Personal credit is important. It's always going to play a factor, but your personal credit is not enough for most commercial business lines of credit. I'm not talking about fintechs. I'm not talking about business credit cards. I'm talking about business lines of credit where you can draw down the entire amount, pull the cash, or transfer it to a checking account. Those commercial business lines of credit, you're going to need more than just a personal credit. You're going to need to show cash flow. And in a lot of cases, you are going to have to submit those tax returns. And in some cases, they might even do a 4506C, 4506T tax transcript verification. So they're verifying those documents with the IRS. So you want to make sure that, you're filing your taxes. That's probably the most important thing. But one thing you have to realize is that as a new business, you're not going to have 2 years of business taxes. So you really have to position yourself, 1 or 2 years down the road. Don't be in such a rush to just get to the bag, right? When you see me sharing information, sharing data points, a lot of cases, a lot of these, approvals and stuff like that, or different data points, has been months or even years in the making, right? A lot of times what I'll do is just, open up a business checking account and put money in there. When the time comes, all my ducks are lined up in a row and I could pull the trigger, and I know that it's going to be a much higher chance of getting approved because all of my data points are checking out. So again, like I said, the best thing you could do as a new business owner, you got to have some level of patience. You're going to have to do some level of financial positioning before you're able to get, these hundreds of thousands of dollars in funds to be able to grow and scale your business. So I just wanted to put this information out there. And like I said, when you start your business, open up that checking account, get your payroll provider, get your accounting software, and then, start building banking relationships with different financial institutions. And then as your business starts to mature, as you start to, have some of these data points, right? You're able to furnish some of these different documents. That's going to make things much easier. So anyways, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Let me know your comments and questions down below. And until next time, take it easy and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.